Tyler's typing to make it look like he's doing something.
I'm preparing.
Last minute notes for this topic that is going to get interesting. Happy day, man. It's, well, I'll just admit, it got really cold again. Fake spring, at least in the Midwest.
Fake spring. That's a celebration. You're celebrating fake spring, and it happens from a lot of the country where you think it's getting warm and then it flips you back the other way.
Dude, were you outside last night?
Yes. Yep.
The wind chill here. We had to cancel. Like you got so cold so quick.
Yeah, for a lot of the country, that's kind of where we are. For us at the college level, I feel like every other year, February, we get several opportunities to train outdoors. Last year, we had like none, because I can remember these things, not a lot of years back, but I feel like every other year we're outside for like practicing in February, which never happens. And so
that's fair.
It's changing every time. So
it is technically winter. It is technically winter still.
Yeah, true.
When's spring? I think March 22nd, or am I making that up? Is that total makeup?
That sounds great. I think that sounds like the right date. Yeah, we're going to go with that. ChatGPT gives wrong information.
This is true. Yeah, and for the year of the horse, by the way.
This is the year of the horse. I did hear a statistic that Puxatawny Phil is in his family, his lineage of groundhogs, they're at like that's a horse, yeah. They're at like a 39% correct rating for predicting spring and fall. That they've been right only 39% of the time in all of history, and we get excited about this groundhog.
There's been nothing good from Groundhog Day except the movie. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, it's yeah. I
also saw a good joke that said the best thing that the movie Groundhog Day could do is say they're going to do a sequel to the movie and then just re-release the original movie.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
It would be so funny.
That would be really good, actually. That would be funny.
Did you know I was going to come to the show just jam-packed with groundhog information?
No, this took a quick detour on the Groundhog Day, but it's right, though. Yeah, it was, we thought spring and we get excited. My wife, at least, though, I don't know what you like. She quickly moves clothes downstairs. But
they have their bins.
Yeah, big spring hit, and she's moving her winter coats up. And I said, you may want to wait. I mean, and
off the brakes on getting out all the spring clothes.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I was like, and
parka needed.
Yeah. So she moves everything. Oh, I better go back down. She got we have a heater in our bathroom, so when we get done for a shower, so then she brought that back. I'm like, you could just left it here. Like, it doesn't take up much space.
Could have just left it here.
Yeah.
Got warm one day. Yeah. All the windows are clean. The screen door.
Everyone panicked. Yeah, she planted all kinds of flowers. Now they're dead. No.
Fake spring. Happy fake spring, everyone.
Yeah. So went to Vegas for Mayor's Cup and got some advice I'll share later. That was good. I tell you, I think I haven't been to Mayor's Cup for a while. Incredible competition. Yeah. So we played a team from England, Canada. Our boys did really well, but it was really, really good competition.
And probably, because Mayor's does bring in some international teams, and so you get to, recognize and play against different styles of play, maybe that are atypical to the American way, which I think is great for, those boys' development. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. You're right. And then it also was, our media guy was with us, Gibby, and he was like, man, the referees seem better than I've ever seen. I was like, I'm assuming if you're trying to tout this as an international tournament, and showcases are not cheap, but to enter a team, you get better referees, I guess. I would be my assumption, because he was right. All the referees were fantastic. Good. Yeah.
Maybe they're just high level in Vegas. The good refs.
Maybe. I saw Wizard of Oz. That was cool. I know this is nothing to do with soccer.
At the Sphere?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. You gotta go see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Josh and I. Now, between the two of us, we've been to the Sphere like 3 times.
Yeah.
We went and watched a movie, and then I saw a concert. You go back to the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. We're experts now.
Yeah, and the apples look like when they shake the tree, the apples fall. They're foam apples, but that's like the big thing to catch. And so anyway, I didn't catch one, and I was not I'm not above pushing down a kid because I love the Wizard of Oz.
To catch a foam apple?
Oh yeah, that kid would have been gone. Grandma tripped. Yeah. But I was in the middle, and you can't move. And you're higher up. The spear goes pretty high, and so I was afraid if I moved too fast, I'd trip and fall. Of course, then every person who
Then
sees
you'd be the grandma, yeah.
yeah, exactly. I would be the guy for $10. Oh, that's what they sold it for. But yeah, so I didn't get an apple. But of course, everyone that saw, like, I saw the Wizard of Oz. Oh, did you get an apple? No, thanks for reminding. I really
Thanks
want to.
for reminding me.
So, but anyway, hey, let's across the way was in Phoenix in Vita Coco, who is our new sponsor. They did you see the new kits and everything?
Yes, I did see
Yeah, they're
one.
fantastic.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was pretty neat.
So we have some Vita Coco here, and this is the original one. But so,
I have
but
the original
yeah, I do too. I do too.
because
I
I
was,
wanna be on this beach.
yeah. Hey, do you know if you open these flaps that they help you? You ever know that little trick? You open the flaps, and so you use it that you can hold it. You can
Oh,
kind of.
well, my hands are strong enough, I would catch an apple. Vita
Mm,
Coco, getting
there you
me
go.
everything I need with my water and more.
Yeah, it's 3.5 times electrolytes. I really do like it. The strawberries and cream is my favorite. I'll stand by that. So you can get that in your local supermarket. But thank you. The new select jerseys are incredible. They're down there activating. They're drinking when they won. They poured it in the cup. And they're drinking Vita Coke out of that.
Did they really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I saw the image of it. I was in Vegas and they're down in Mayor's Cups.
Cool.
It was good. But yeah, try Vita Coco water. You can get it just about anywhere right now. But they sponsor our Select and they sponsor Cap Chat. So it is fantastic. I promise you, try the strawberries and cream. So it is really really good. So that is what we got. But anyway, welcome.
You're listening to Cap Chat, the #1 soccer recruitment podcast in the United States. This is Cap Chat.
All right. I'm gonna put my glasses on for this because I think this is gonna get some serious stuff.
I like it.
So the topic, Tyler, this was your official topic. I had to write it down because it was such a good topic. How you worded it was really good. How do we compete, or how do I compete with international players? So
I being the high school American athlete.
yes, yeah, I have no chance of competing with international athletes. Well, let
Or high
alone
school.
yeah, 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 yeah. Let alone just an athlete. So are you? Are you still able to play with your girls' team, or are you beyond that now?
Actually, I hopped in the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and did okay?
yeah, I did fine.
Yeah, I can do my 2010 boys.
I put myself in positions where I'm like a bumper or,
Yeah,
I'm the target, so I don't have to move as much and I can just complete passes,
yeah, because you don't have to transition. I did
Yeah.
a transition drill the other day, and I'm like,
Oh,
oof, I
oh.
do not transition well. So
There's a joke in there, but I'm gonna
yeah, I
let it
realized I heard it.
That's all right.
Yeah, thanks,
All right.
thanks for letting that go. Yeah, yeah, we'll just drink to that. Okay, so
Oh,
Missouri State. This is where I mean, obviously we know the international. I got some cool stats for you, but um, the international, how many international students there are, but Missouri State, that's made the big news. Missouri State roster is now 100% internationals. There's a lot of debate of how you change that. What do you do? I don't think we really dive. I don't no point diving into that today because that's a whole different structural issue of how do you change that. So our focus I think is how do you compete against that? It is naturally harder. So Tyler, we have some things to do. Let me read these stats here for you. And you know what? This has a cool screen share. So let me just share the screen so you guys can see the stats because they're good stats. A little Gemini happening here. So Division One, 35 to 40% um, is international. Division Two is 22%. And Division Three is 5 to 7. So not only Division Three, I will. It's the division I've never coached, but Division Three. Not only do they have the lowest international players, right? They also have by far the lowest transfer rate for Division Three. So NAI is 25 to 30%, and then JUCO is 20%. I will be honest, I really thought JUCO would be higher. But so that's the average for men's soccer. Women's soccer is yeah, it basically cut that in half. Women's soccer Division 1 is 11 to 12, Division 2 is 7, Division 3 is less than 3%, and then NAI is 10%. So that is what kind of looking at on the stats there. So, yeah, I thought that's enough. I'm back to the junior college. That was
that's surprising. There are more junior colleges, than we think of numerically, like volume-wise, and
yeah,
there's
I just
some like, California or Washington that pretty much have their own tournaments, finals, etc., apart from
Yeah,
NJCAA, that those are primarily made up of in-state kids.
that's true. Because in California, right, it is free in state for everyone. Like Mississippi's only allowed 5 non-Mississippi residents for the Chico. So that's a good point. That is a good.
So there are some rules with the states, I think, that are just keeping that number down a little bit.
Yeah. How do you think in your conference when you look at women's soccer for NAI, you're looking at 10%? Does that seem that jive with your conference?
Yeah, we might be closer to the 15% range on the women's side. The men's numbers would align, if not even be higher, I think, for us.
Oh wow. Okay.
I would say that in our conference on the men's side, now this is the number one conference in the country for men's soccer.
You know,
And
says everyone who coaches in their own conference.
yep, this conference has 5 of the last 7 national champions, and they're not the same
I'm
school.
7'5", Bill Brasky. We could
I don't
could
even coach on that side.
we can kick a ball 120 yards in the uprights into the wind here in the Heart of America Conference.
I don't coach on that side. You're not offending me whatsoever. So I'm just looking at the facts. But I don't think there is one team in the entire conference that starts majority Americans. Not one.
They don't start majority.
0.
Okay. Okay. So they'll come up there.
I mean, I would say I bet in the top 23 players of every roster, there's
Yeah.
not a majority Americans. 0. And that's 0 teams. So the majority of the kids playing in the conference are internationals on the men's side. That's not even close.
Wow. And that's and I wonder, what the it is. I mean, we're in the Midwest, and that's no surprise to anyone. Most of your conference is obviously in the Midwest. If I'm an international student, you know where I don't want to end up? Some small school in the Midwest, right? Maybe just because I'm jaded because I've been here long enough, and maybe they're coming from a city and they just love the trees, and it's the coolest thing in the world for them.
It is true. It's that most are coming from a big city, and yeah, it may just be a different experience.
And I wonder how many of those, and you may not know, I know you have a few internationals on the women's team, but do they ever see the campus, or is it a virtual visit? Do they have any idea? And I'm
Yeah,
not
it's a good
picking on.
question. Let me tell you, on the men's side of our recruiting, there's like rarely a virtual visit even. It's all about the scholarship offer and talking to the coach. On the women's side, I have had 3 to 4 international students ever come visit the college in 15 years. The men's side, probably, I think they had one kid that was international visit the school this calendar school year. So that's very rare, I would say. And even some of the kids that had visited us, 2 of them, I think, were already committed to play for us, and they were just like doing a test run to see how they're going to get to the school when August came around.
What's the transfer rate of international? Because I'm saying this out loud. Like most of the people in the Heart of America Conference, and let me back this up. A majority of NAIA schools tend to be in smaller towns, smaller schools. I think
Yeah.
this is safe bet, right? I wonder how many, how many do they get there and realize, man, this is way too small for me? Like I wonder,
That happens a lot.
and they leave, or they stick it
they
out.
leave. They leave. No, they leave.
Okay.
They leave. There's still a very high transfer rate for internationals.
Okay.
It can't just be an NAIA level thing. It's just that's how it is at a lot of colleges across the country.
Yeah.
But it goes hand in hand with the transfer culture that we have set right now in all of our sports at the college level in America.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Well, if you just joined us, see people hopping on live is how do I compete with international players? So we're talking about that. So Tyler, let me get your thoughts though. Let's ask I mean, everyone has an opinion on the Missouri State thing, and it made news.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
just so that our listeners know, the Missouri State thing is the Missouri State men's soccer team's roster was announced, and they had 0 American players on the roster, and that was met with criticism and confusion for a state school, taxpayers' dollars, whatever the arguments are, and no Americans on the roster.
Yeah. So what's your thought?
You want me to touch on that part of it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think my
I've
thoughts
gotten
are
asked
gonna
that question a lot. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think my thoughts are no one's really asked me. I've done a lot of listening with it, and so I've taken a lot of information and read some of the comments and whatnot. But
yeah. They get pretty nasty.
Ultimately, from a coach's perspective, that coach's job is to win games. If he or she feels their best route to winning games is to have all international players, I don't see how I argue with that. Now, that they weren't a powerhouse team, I believe, last season. The Final Four, even maybe the top 8 schools in Division I soccer were not majority international based for the first time in a year or two. But if that coach thinks that's what they need to be successful, I don't know. I mean, the University of Illinois basketball's half their team is international, and their starting lineups, got a lot of internationals. No one's complaining about that. They're in the top 5 or whatever. And so these coaches have to. It's a world game. Recruiting is not. I don't have to just get the best players in Missouri to go win a national championship. I have to get the best players, period. And so that, I think, is. I'm not saying that he's wrong or right. I'm just saying that's the coach's perspective of
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah. And it just, so you, last year there were 6-6-4, in
So
Missouri State.
500.
Yeah. I mean, I think the flip side to that is you're right. So I want to agree with you. Especially we are in such a winning culture. Like we need to win now. Parents will leave clubs. I'm not blaming parents. These clubs in general, like I got to win, and the clubs have that mindset. Got to win, got to win. And so even more emphasis is placed on winning. And so if you don't win, you lose players, and especially the D1 level, if you don't win, you lose your job, and now you're uprooting your family. And you're right. If I take the Missouri State job and they say, you have 3 years to turn this program around or you lose your job. And I'm looking at my 2 little kids, 2 little boys thinking, I'm going to move again in 3 years if I don't win. Yeah, I'm doing what I can to win. The flip side, the flip side though, is where I think a lot of people get upset is it's a publicly funded university. Now, does that matter? I don't know. That lays in the words, Tyler, you're a private school.
Yep.
So are they saying private schools, but you're a small school in a small town, and you are highly involved in your community. I'm in a suburb of Kansas City, Liberty. We're involved in the community, and even though we both coach at private schools, we're predominantly men's and women's, predominantly U.S. based because we're part of that community. Even though we're both private and not state funded, but does it matter since it's a state funded school?
I'm going to stay out of that argument because that's we could get political, and I'm not going to get political.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a political thing. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Is a state funded school should not, but they've never had a problem with community colleges. Community colleges, I think, are even more. On the flip side, of that community colleges is even more not only state funded, it is a community, and there's no rules about internationals that much. I don't think there's any rules about how many internationals you can bring for a community college. I would imagine there's a community college that has 100% internationals. So at some point, and you're looking at a roster, let's say, well, they got 28 players, all international. There's 20,000 students there. So it's such a small blip.
I think I looked at a roster yesterday that was like, on the girls' side in New York, junior college, there was like 95% international. Yeah, the whole roster.
And that's a publicly funded school. So I don't know. And you're right, Ty. I don't think we have to answer that, but that is the question: is as a publicly funded school, do you have to adhere to that, or do you have to adhere to winning? And
yeah, and like you said, I saw a post. Maybe it was yesterday. It was the Division I coaching changes over the last 3 years, and there were 136 head coach changes
in Division I.
Yep, just on the women's side.
There's only like 300 Division I. What is it? 400 Division I programs, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
The ultimate college soccer recruitment roadmap. A step-by-step guide to the recruitment process. Strategic recruitment planning. Take every month, every year, a step-by-step guide through the recruitment process. You can purchase the book at rushcollege.com/book. That is rushcollege.com/book. This will be the most helpful book you have read for the recruitment process. It is a must read if you want to play collegiate soccer. And you can find the book at rushcollege.com/book. Purchase now today for your exclusive copy.
Nikes.
I don't know. That's a lot. And so, I mean, that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we could go down about.
We're 20 minutes deep in the rabbit hole right now.
I won't take it down there, but that's our argument for, like, if this person wants to try to stay at their school and win, and they believed this is their way to win. Now they didn't, but that was what they believed.
I tell you this though, if Missouri State doesn't, if he doesn't turn this program around in 2, 3 years, I think he's going to look like an idiot. Because obviously in the internationals coming in
Just
is
because, yeah, now the microscope has been put on their school.
correct, and he's bringing internationals, and I'm assuming to win, which is his job. And so not even knocking that. If he comes out and wins, people go, "Oh, okay, yeah, he won, cool."
Some
Because
people, some people
on the
still
flip,
do.
but on the flip side of this argument too is if we want to talk about a publicly funded school and bring internationals, if you win a national championship, you bring in more money and you now bring in more notoriety. So there's 28 people you brought in from international. If Missouri State goes to the Final Four, they bring in more money because more kids want to go there. Now there's more notoriety. But again, he's got to win though.
Hopefully
Oh,
for soccer.
well, but you're on the national radar. And if Missouri State wins this, I mean, they're going to
Yeah,
be. I'm
yeah.
actually pulling from it. I transferred to SMS. It was Southwest Missouri State University at the time, so now it's
Mhm.
Missouri State. So I can say I'm an alumnus.
He's old.
I'm an alumni of Missouri State, so I'm actually pulling from it for him. I want to see him do well. Anyway,
So how do we do it? then?
yeah.
If
Um,
this is our future right now, and when you look at the way that a lot of colleges are recruiting, transfer portals, obviously an easy way. You're going to have good experienced players coming your way, and I'm going to be drawn to them as a college coach. Secondly, then where do I go? Do I go to a high school player from America, or do I go to an international player? And so a lot of the international players are going to be older. They have maybe tried to make a run and play pro
mhm,
in their country, and the dream just wasn't happening for them. And so they're trying to come across to the United States to continue their soccer careers while getting an education. And so in a lot of those cases, the college coaches are going to be looking at those players first because of that experience and because of maybe their age. And so the question that Josh has popped up here a few times with the graphic is then if I'm an American high school player, right, how do I compete with these international players for scholarships and opportunities?
yeah. What do you think? Do you? I'll go one. I'll go one. I think we kind of. I know we chatted before. We actually came up with. It was interesting. I'm just gonna spill our secrets. We came up with a lot of the same thing, which I thought was cool. We were proud of us. So number one, then for me is and I will steal some of this from Tyler's other podcast, soccer dad ranks things, because you guys go back and forth. I feel like I'm stealing this. Dad
Yeah,
rank
well, yeah,
things everywhere. It is fantastic little podcast that Tyler does.
thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I think the number one for me, number one is, and what do you think of this, Tyler? Is to win the academic leverage battle. So internationals, they struggle with transcript conversion, which we're dealing with it. I know you've dealt with it. We've talked about it. So your GPA, I think, is your secret weapon. What do you think?
Yeah, that this can be sometimes a roadblock or a little bit of a hindrance for international players is that for them to attend college, university in the United States, they have to have their GPA translated, right? I know for us in AIA and even my college, we use a company called Incred. And so the students, let's say they're coming from, England, they have to submit their GPA, their grades to Incred. Incred will then translate those grades and provide an American GPA in a document that's sent to the schools. Now, what happens a lot of times, just working with agents and people that are helping them, they're like, well, yeah, we see this kid as like a, 3.8 GPA probably. And then sometimes their grades translate and they're like 3.1,
Mm,
3.2. Well, in some colleges, right, that's a whole different spectrum of money that just dropped from
yeah,
3.8 to 3.2. You could have just lost like $3,000 to $5,000 in academic support. And so then it's on the college coach. Do they value this recruit enough to make up that money that was lost in the translation, or do they just say, we thought you were going to get more, but you didn't, we're not interested? I don't know. I'm not going to say how anybody manages it, but for an American player, the GPA is the GPA. You're going in, you know what it's going to be. If you have a higher one and you can use that to your advantage, you become a bit more, if you're a good player with a good GPA at a lot of levels in this country, you have become more marketable
yeah,
because a college coach may have to use less of their pot of soccer money to help you as a player that's gaining scholarship at their school because your academics are high enough.
yeah.
I agree. I think that that's a benefit. It also takes time to get your grades translated. It doesn't happen overnight. They can pay a lot more money for expedited results, but yeah, you know your GPA at all time, and that's something that you should carry along with you. And if it's something that's going to help you, prop it up, man. Compete in that way.
I like that. I kind of call it the free play strategy, but the grades I think are so important that, and we've said this a lot, that grades are probably more important, especially now with these spots, is you can stack grades in athletics. So, and the majority of the time you're going to get more money. And well, we know that the reality now, this is not updated. We probably need to change this. I need to research the stat again. It was a year and a half ago, 1.5% students got athletic scholarships, and the rest is coming from academic. Now, I think Division III obviously highly skews that. Um, so yeah, I think the grades is you're more likely to take a good player who has a 4.0 and a 30 ACT, because you can get almost everything paid for with academics, and so now the athletic money is a little less.
Could be. Could be. It's an advantage.
So I think that's good. And the other, my other thing on grade there was kind of get your eligibility center done sooner. Have that done by junior year, because that is international players running the amateurism. Okay, hurdle. So they have to prove they're an amateur, and so they have a hard time sometimes getting that done. So can you make that easier and say, oh, I already have my NCAA eligibility number done. You want to go next, or do you want me to read and keep asking
Yeah,
questions?
number two, I think for us is, and this is a question that I ask a lot of times when I'm talking to teams and whatnot, is, if you guys are trying to compete with internationals, how many of you think that a player from Scotland is emailing coaches in the United States without a highlight video? Okay. And you'd be surprised when people are like, oh, he doesn't have to. And I'm like, yeah, they do. And they always have it. Every international player that's contacting an American school, because of the distance between where they live and where we are in America, they're going to have a highlight video.
Yeah.
So if you are an American player and you are contacting college coaches and you don't have a highlight video, you are already at, one, a disadvantage, two, a disadvantage to compete for scholarships against international players or transfers that probably already have that highlight video ready to go. And so that's not something we can wait on if we're at the process where we're communicating schools and competing for scholarships. Your way to compete is to have a highlight video. I just watched a 2027 American boys highlight video, and it was good. And I said, this is great. Let's go. Get on this. Let's communicate. Let's talk to college coaches. This is good. As you get older, even in the next year, change it, update it, keep it fresh. But you can do this. This is a junior. So if you're at that age, it's definitely okay, and you're capable of putting together a decent highlight video.
Yeah, and and to that point too, is like the home field advantage is I think now it's for boys especially, go to targeted ID camps, because you are here, get in front of them. Not all coaches, but the internationals are somewhat risky, because, like, Tyler, we just mentioned, like, they don't necessarily know where the school is. So they're coming here and they may hate the town. They may not be coachable. Like, everything's based probably on a few phone calls and a highlight video. Whereas if you can get to ID camps and start going to ID camps early, as a freshman, sophomore, be in front of that coach, it helps, because you can prove your coachability. Because a lot of things, especially Division II, III NAI, there's no roster caps yet.
Right.
If you're a good player that will make an impact in 2-3 years, and you have good grades, you're coachable, coaches will take that, especially if they have a JV program. Now, high level Division I is different because they have 28 spots, and they're not really. We saw the numbers for Division II and NAI are pretty high as well for nationals.
Pretty high as well, yeah.
That helps you to prove your coachability, and I think at Division II, Division III NAI, you can take a little more of a developmental player that will say, "Oh, this player's going to be really good for me in 2 years." And I think that's you prove that by going to ID camps, and I think ID camps continue to be incredibly important.
Yeah, so that's your number 3, right? Develop a relationship, and I agree with you, because you can develop a relationship.
It was kind of it was the home field advantage, direct visibility.
The home field advantage, you are in a position in America to put yourself in front of those coaches, relationship driven, rapport driven. They're getting to know you. You're attending their camps. You're inviting them to come watch you play when you're nearby, and maybe they do, right? You have, yeah, like your home field advantage is a great way to phrase it. You have the home field advantage. You know what the college is like because you visited the campus, and
Yeah.
so it's not like something where you're just like, well, I hope when I get there, it's cool and I like it. Like, you know, if you're gonna want to stay there and make that your home, and you can even communicate that this is where I want to go. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable. I like the school. I like the area, and I think I can do well there. And that's a good home field advantage for you in the recruitment process.
My 3 is it my turn?
Sure.
I'll lose track.
You kinda
Phys
just took 3, but yeah.
I think we kinda combined. Physicality. The college game is faster, more physical than most international leagues. If someone's listening from yes, I'm not saying you guys are wusses, calm down, but that it is bigger, faster, stronger, and a lot of you're seeing a lot of high pressure, kinda like track meet style, and international sometimes struggle with that high pressure, you know, in so I think it is physicality of having elite recovery speed and fitness to press for 90 minutes. I think you can fill a tactical need there if that school presses a lot, and that's so I think that is kind of the physicality aspect is where you can change your game.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, just kind of understanding the style of play, being able to watch the teams. This goes back to Josh's term of home field advantage. Maybe, they fit your style of play because you've seen the college play a lot and you're watching the games and you're in tune with the coach and whatever it might be. And so understanding your way that you play and then applying it to a college that's going to suit your needs the best.
Yeah.
That takes work on the recruit side, Josh, that they have to know the different styles that these teams play or these coaches play. You may like a way a coach plays, and he or she might like the way you play, and then they change schools. Well, now you may be looking at that school if you're interested in that school and you like that coach's style of play and you're going to have a chance with that coach. Like, that's something that can happen too. So
Yeah.
understanding style of play, I think that's a really good one. That's important.
And I think onto that too is the having, part of the physicality part is get a strength and conditioning program. I think that's some of the things that we miss because regardless of internationals are there or not, this can relate to both. Is you're 18 going in and you're competing against a 22-year-old, 23-year-old grown man who's been lifting in the off season for 4 years.
Hmm.
College is a bigger, faster, stronger game. So part of that, the college ready, I think, gets yourself physically
Hmm.
strength and conditioned to
That makes sense. Yeah. Not a lot of clubs or even high school teams have a program for their kids.
agree. I would agree with it.
We have kids that step in with our strength and conditioning coach, Josh, that they don't have a freaking clue
Yeah.
what they're doing. And I'm
Yep.
like, really? They've never done any of this? Like, no,
Yeah.
never. Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, that's mine. You're up, Tyler.
I don't know. We've
I said
taken
Europe.
all mine.
I said
What do you
Europe.
got?
I
Do you have
said
a
Europe.
last one?
Well,
It's a dad joke.
you covered it. You covered it. I think though it is when we talk about the digital resume, digital footprints. You brought up on highlight videos, and so I was going to kind of
Yep.
add on to it is, obviously the highlight videos, and yes, you have to have that, but and I think always have full game videos upon request, especially if you're going somewhere like non-drivable or easy for a college coach to get to.
I am
Because
seeing that a bit more lately. Just between, and I know this isn't a Tyler's trend, but over the last like 6 months, when players are giving highlight reels, a lot of them are also saying full game video
Yeah.
if you want that here. And they're linking maybe just one game
yeah,
that they have chosen as a full game highlight opportunity. So that is a trend that's happening right now, which I appreciate. I don't just want the full game. I want the highlights. If I have time, I'll watch the full game. Some coaches have 6 people on staff. They can watch both of those things. But Josh is right. Your digital footprint and resume. Oh, and I said too, understand the social media side of things, right?
yeah.
It's all about marketing yourself. Follow them on Instagram, follow them on X, follow them on Facebook. Your name recognized with that program, once again, is going to be a big help for and drive you to more help and another advantage that maybe they're not thinking of in other countries that you get to do is utilize social media and connect with the teams through there.
Oh, I like that.
I knew I had one more.
You had a pro, and I had a bonus tip. I got a pro tip as well.
That
So
was
there's your little bonus.
That was a bonus.
Bonus. Mine is the gap year trend. We talked about it almost a year and a half ago on the podcast. You can check it out. The rise of JUCO. Tyler and I were actually well ahead of this trend. I think that I'm giving more young men advice to look at JUCO, and I want to very specifically say of this gap year, you can't just go train with a club team. You need to be playing, like legit playing, either at a pre-professional. There are some UPSLs that play all year round, but I do think that a going JUCO is a big help. JUCO men will continue to be more and more competitive. They're already ultra competitive now, especially the top 20 men's program, and I think I think you're going to see the top 50 men's program going to be more and more. We've heard of some salaries of JUCO men's coaches. They're very
Going
high.
up, going up.
Yeah. So, I
But yeah,
still, I still
but
think
you're
JUCO.
right. You have JUCO and like
Yep.
the academy route is starting to become more popular. We're working with kids in Rush that are choosing those pathways.
Yep.
They want to maybe study a year in Europe and play. Josh and I are working with players that are pursuing that before going. So the gap year, a definite trend that's happening, and it's an alternate way of like not directly competing with these players, but almost becoming them, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting older and more experienced, and then heading back in. It's okay.
Yeah. I think ultimately you ask yourself is what are we trying to accomplish? 99.8% of us are not going to play professional soccer. And that's okay. I think the ultimate goal, if we're honest with ourselves, is I want to extend my playing career. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And so if that's what you're trying to do, and everyone wants to play the highest level they can, I totally get that. And so I go back to JUCO, go play 2 years. I'm not going to say forever JUCO. It's probably free, if not very, very, very affordable. And you can, a lot of them have dorms. You get the college experience. You're going to play for 2 years because JUCO doesn't have the time to just develop players. They get you for 2 years, 2 years only. And then their job is to get you to go transfer out. And the rise of the transfer portal is hitting. And so they want a kid who's been away from home. That's the other thing, like with internationals, they're bred a little differently just to hop up and leave home. I don't know many people that, if you talk to any international who's been over here, I just came over when I was 18. Like, without your parents? Like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no way I'd send my kid over to Europe by himself. Just see you later, Jackson. Like,
Yes, you would.
Well, it depends on the
Yes,
day.
you would.
So I think they're more adapt to being on their own and being okay with that. And so I think, and that's the other kind of intriguing part of internationals. Whereas if you can go away to JUCO and play for 2 years, get 2 years of experience playing at a high level, get a really quality outlet video, I think that increases your chances. So don't be afraid of that JUCO route. Like it is, you ask what is your end result to play at the highest level you can and extend your playing career. So that's my bonus tip. Boom! Brought to you by Vita Coco Bonus. I am loving this too.
Cheers.
Much different of cheers than your other soccer dad.
That's right. Yes.
Podcast. Okay, so that's it. I think this is a good topic. Everyone has spent so much time bashing this and talking about it, but let's get to the root of it. How do we fix it? And I think this is
right. Like we can complain about it, but I'm in the world of solutions.
Yeah.
Right. Let's solve things, not complain.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So awesome. And then that's what we got. This has been fun and Cap Chat. I'm gonna end on Tyler. I will say, the podcast I listened to that I want to repost is when we talked to the guy from Ukraine. I actually listened to that again last night. That was a really good podcast that we did.
It was fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm gonna repost that one in a little
Okay.
bit. But so that's what we got. This has been for Tyler Tomlinson, the coconut water drinker champion. I don't know, but thank you to Vita Coco. Go out and try it. It is 3.5 times the electrolyte than the leading sports drink. I put this actually in my coffee as a creamer. We make smoothies with it now. The strawberries and cream is incredible. So thank you to Vita Coco. Thanks to Tyler Thomas, and thanks for listening. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been Cap Chat Live.